John, welcome back.
I know already. Look at us. Call it a trend
We're really doing it again.
without a big gap.
Back. Well, we have a great episode today. Really looking forward to talking to our guest, who I feel like a lot of people relate to and want to hear more about. But before we get started on that, I wanted to ask you your thoughts on the demise of the Tupperware brand.
Ah, yes, the long tenured Tupperware brand.
Yes, Tupperware has gone bankrupt. And yeah, there's a number of reasons for that, according to what I'm reading, one of which is their reliance on direct sales up until the last couple of years where they finally started an e-commerce program. But
Yeah, I
not,
saw that. I didn't realize they were solely door to door or, through Tupperware parties and up until what, 2019 or something?
2020, yeah.
2020, yeah.
Which is wild.
Crazy.
I mean, talk about like not trying to pivot and just staying with what they got until it goes down, but fascinating stuff. What really I found interesting is the conversation around brands like Tupperware that actually become the names of the categories.
Oh yeah, when they get genericized, yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on that?
I read an article about that, and I thought it was really interesting. They called out that some of the savvier brands go way out of their way to make sure not to use their brand names as nouns, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's Kleenex tissue.
Yeah.
It's a Q-tip cotton swab. They don't genericize it themselves, and I was amazed to read that both Google and is it Kimberly Clark that owns Kleenex?
Yeah.
That they both have actually engaged in legal battles to keep their brand out of the dictionary for that very reason.
That's amazing. Good luck with that, though. I mean,
Yeah. I think,
the Q-tip one, who calls that anything else other than,
and who searches on anything besides Google?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I found some really interesting other brand names that have become the category name over the years. So I thought I'd share some. And
Let's hear them.
yeah, so Ziploc, Ziploc chapstick,
Oh,
Band-Aid.
people use chapstick generically. I don't think I was aware of that.
Really?
I guess I don't walk around saying, "Can you hand me some lip balm?" I usually probably don't say that.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
Band-Aid,
Band-Aid, classic.
jacuzzi. I guess a lot of people still use hot tub, but there's a generalized
Yes, I knew about jacuzzi.
crock pot.
Oh, I did not know that. Let me guess, Betty Crocker?
No, crock pot.
But like who? It's just a standalone brand?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I had
Yeah.
no idea. I thought that
No.
was a generic.
You thought that was the product?
Yeah,
Aspirin.
I knew that.
Yeah. For
Not
better.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Not in the US, other places. I did know that.
Bubble wrap.
Well,
Yeah. That was a surprise to me. Velcro.
makes sense.
Here's an interesting one. Escalator.
I knew about Escalator. By the way,
Yeah.
I love this stuff, so I know some.
Okay.
Escalator's Otis. That's the elevator company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jet ski.
Makes sense. Didn't
Yeah.
know, but would have guessed.
Laundromat.
Oh, damn, you have my favorite.
Oh, that was yours.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah.
Westinghouse owned that for years.
I did not know that.
You know when they stopped? When they abandoned the trademark?
No, when?
When they stopped making washing machines.
Oh.
Yep. They created the first, I think, automatic wash machine, maybe the first automatic wall mounted or whatever, but the whole coin op thing started with a Westinghouse brand laundromat.
Yeah.
By the way, here's something you probably don't know. There's another name for laundromat.
Oh God.
Not very common. I think it's used in Texas. A washateria.
A washateria.
Yeah. Surprisingly, that didn't catch on the rest of the country. Yeah.
That sounds like
Sounds terrible.
Sounds awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went down a little rat hole on some of these, and I was really surprised to hear. Well, not surprised, but just the fact that these companies, they trademark these things, and it helps buy them time for all the research and time they've put into building these products. But then once they wear off, it really just it opens the door for more fair competition. But the public doesn't really know anything else. A couple more I got, and then we'll get to our guests. But thermos,
Didn't know.
yep, and rollerblade.
Did know.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Can I share some of mine with you?
I would love to hear what else you got.
All right. Well, you already used my favorite example of laundromat. You skipped the most obvious in my mind, Xerox.
Xerox is a good one. I
Yeah.
knew that. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if any of our listeners are under 30, they don't know what we're talking about, but Xerox and mimeograph, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
What is that?
Mimeograph. Do you know what a mimeograph is?
No, I do not.
Oh, Jesus. All right, never mind.
I need to know more about that. What is the
Okay, before there was Xerox, there was a machine and I remember schools and offices that made copies called a mimeograph machine, and paper rolled across this purple ink, and it would come out and it would still be a little wet and smeary, and it had a very polarizing scent. Some people loved it, some people were disgusted by it.
Wow, school in the 1870s. Who knew?
Yeah, right. Yeah, we mimeographed right after we finished writing on the back of our shovels. All right, I got another one for you.
All right, bring it.
Teleprompter.
Oh, interesting.
Trademark. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
become genericized.
And Post-it notes too.
Well, yeah, that I think yeah.
Yeah.
All right, good stuff.
All right.
Love a genericized brand name.
Yeah.
It seems like the ultimate symbol of success, right? You've arrived. Oh my God, everyone calls it Band-Aid, but it's actually a little bit of a problem for these brands.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a sign of success when you conquer the market like that, but in the long run, it could end up hurting you, but might as well shoot for that in the beginning and then deal with the problem later.
Yeah. I guess as long as you're susceptible to cheap knockoffs, it's going to happen.
For sure. For sure.
All right. Shall we move on and talk to our guest?
Let's get into it.
All right. I am happy to introduce a savvy marketer and an all-around terrific guy, Jinx Joglekar. He leads marketing for both Dish Network and Sling TV, making him responsible for driving growth and engagement for millions of customers who are cutting the cord. He's responsible for all the acquisition, the media, e-commerce, including advertising, digital marketing, marketing technology, and digital sales. Before he joined Sling in 2022, he led e-commerce for the Xfinity brand under the Comcast NBC Universal umbrella, leading digital sales and merchandising for TV, high-speed internet, and mobile. Prior to that, he led an innovation team at JP Morgan Chase, creating unique digital experiences, including the Freedom mobile app. Outside of work, he plays drums in his basement studio. He apparently has learned guitar, piano, bass, and the ukulele for his daughter. He's got great marketing skills. He loves good food. And I think he's falling for his relatively new home state of Colorado. And he has one of the all-time best, most contagious laughs. Please welcome Jinx.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's great
How
to be
about that
here.
intro?
It was great.
If we don't make you laugh, we failed because I just said it's the most contagious one.
I mean, it's contagious, but also it's reflexive for me. So yeah, you will. It'll be fine.
All right. So Brian, you're going to need to be funny, okay?
I'll do my best.
All right. All right. First, Jinx, can you explain your role and how you head up marketing for two very different brands, Dish Network and Sling? And then a little bit like, what challenges come with juggling those responsibilities?
Sure. So my role at EchoStar, formerly known as Dish, we had a merger last year with a sister company, EchoStar, that does mobile internet, is I lead up acquisition marketing for the video services vertical. So that encompasses Dish and Sling as our two main products. And what I'm focused on really is how we drive high quality subs into our ecosystem of video services. So what does that mean? Well, I own the offer strategy and how we go to market, what those go to market moments are in the video space. I also own the media budgets and channel management. I own all of our digital sales flows, our e-commerce flows, and then all of our marketing analytics and the what I call like the last mile from customer strategy and media to acquisition. So all the things you'd think about when you think about acquiring customers for a brand.
Got it. And going back real quick for those who don't know, subs in this case means subscribers, not sandwiches.
That's right. And if I ever say RGUs, then John
yeah, we'll flag you on revenue generating units too. Which customer doesn't want to refer to as an RGU?
It's the most marketing customer centric friendly way to describe subscribers. But
exactly. All right, so you're selling video products for, if I'm a consumer, you could be marketing one of two different video services to me, Dish Network and Sling. How's that work?
Yeah, so for me, it's actually really, really fun. I started here about 2.5 years ago and was hired when I moved from Comcast, where I met you, John, over to run the marketing for Sling, which was, the acquisition component, but also the brand and the life cycle retention piece. Once we kind of brought ourselves together as video services, we broke that up with some key marketing leaders, could have broken up those functions because they're just such big brands that need that much dedicated focus. And so for me, like I said, it's really fun. I get to think about really two distinct products, right? You have satellite television with Dish, you have linear streaming with Sling, and really think about, how do I market those products? How do I go to market with those products? And how do I acquire customers into those products that have very different experience of the customer, very different jobs to be done with the customer, and very different need states? And so that, to me, most of my time is thinking about, how do I segment my addressable market for those so that I'm really relevant, using the right media, delivering the right offer at the right place at the right time to drive a customer.
You're talking Ryan's language.
Yeah, exactly. So how are you defining quality for both those brands, and where you're having success kind of finding those people?
Yeah, I mean, for us, a quality sub, it's a little bit different in each one, but
Sure.
in the end of the day, it's someone that loves to watch TV and wants to continue watching TV with our service, and finds value in the great features we have, whether on the Dish side it's the hopper and the ability to aggregate your linear feeds with your streaming. On the Sling side, it's the great video quality, the ability to watch it on the go, the new product enhancements we've had, like rewards and sports scores and things like that. So, but really, quality means a sub that loves TV is going to be with us a long time, that likes our product, likes our offering, and we don't go and play maybe the game of a couple of years ago, which was like all out growth and spend to get as many subscribers as possible.
Churn's through the roof. Yeah.
Yeah, right, and have a high churn. And so, I think if you see some of the reports we've had lately, you see that the benefit of that, particularly what we're doing on the Dish side, and it's really been great to leverage some of the knowledge we've had on that side and bring it to the Sling side, where, as you know, I mean, you guys see the streaming reports where churn is high, and we're starting to buck that trend. So that's kind of cool.
Nice.
That's great.
So when you're on that quest to find quality subscribers for either Dish or Sling, do you ever find the circumstance where the brands are competing for the same customers?
Actually, no. The beautiful part about having it all in one shop is the ability for us to stratify where we spend our marketing dollar. And as you guys well know, if I'm spending $1 for each brand competing against each other, both brands are going to be inefficient.
Yeah.
And so we spend a lot of time saying, well, here's the segment and the target that's really the right fit for Sling. Here's the right segment and target that's right for Dish. Let's not overlap. Let's not spray and pray and try to get everybody, but again, really have hyper targeted tactics and channel strategies to go acquire them.
How often are you coming out with new offers?
It's interesting. On the Dish side, it's probably once every quarter, once every half a year. It's a more static process. And that's, again, we go in with a low price that has, 2-year price commitment. There's not a lot of change. And that's actually what the customer wants, right? They want their content at the best price. On the Sling side, we're a little more fluid. We're a little more dynamic because A, we have the technology to do it, and B, that's what the customer wants, right? In certain moments, it's about, doing a monthly offer because that's what the customer wants. In certain moments, it's about doing a prepaid offer like we did for football, where we've actually got a fixed price that you do for the football season. You pay one low price and you get all of that content throughout your season. And then when you're done, we want you to stick around. We want you to go and take another offer and keep with us. But if you don't, actually what we launched on Sling last year is our fast service, free ad supported television, which is called Free Stream. So even if you don't want to pay for Sling, we still offer a value on Sling to those customers. Say, give you great free content, give you a reason to watch, and then when you're ready to resubscribe, make it easy to do that in one click.
That's cool. Are you seeing traction with that?
Yeah, we're seeing great traction with folks that are coming into free to discover Sling, understand the UI, understand what's in the product. We also are seeing great traction with people that are paid subscribers that don't want to pay for content for that time, that go into free stream, watch that. It's great content, and then resubscribe when they're ready, when their favorite show comes on or a season comes on.
It's interesting. Brian touched on the idea of churn earlier in the category. There's always been switchers, take people jumping from one offer to the next. Do you find that a lot of the folks coming in to Sling are coming from other streaming services, or are they disconnecting from cable?
Yeah, it's a mix, actually. I think I can't share all the facts with you, but I will say, when Sling launched, obviously in 2015, there was starting to be a mass exodus from traditional pay TV cable providers, et cetera. I think what you're seeing now is because that's cord cutting has happened. There's a lot of movement between those services, and what we find is on Sling, because we still have the value proposition of being able to pick your pack, not having to buy a full cable replacement and being better on the wallet. You'll see people that are coming from your YouTube TVs, your Hulu Lives, that are basically a cable replacement service, coming to us for even more content that they want to watch at the price they want. So.
Got it. We always like to talk about how brands position themselves in the world, and hearing you talk, it seems like the positioning for Sling is the lighter package of content you want for a lower price, right?
Yep.
How do you position Dish? Can you kind of draw the distinction between how you position those two brands?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think you're right on Sling, and we've done a lot of work on this from a brand perspective. I joke with John, and I've joked with others, like, I'm the acquisition guy, so there's a thing that I'm responsible for, but brand and acquisition and performance and all, it's meaningless delineations, honestly, because you have to have an awesome brand value statement that'll drive to awesome channel strategies, that'll drive to awesome creative and awesome digital sales experiences. And that's like the virtuous cycle that actually acquires subs and then, quite frankly, retains them and finds the quality ones. So we've spent collectively a lot of time thinking about it. And the way to think about it is on Sling, and you'll start to see, if you haven't already seen, some of this creative in market, which is, we call it Sling Lets You Do That. That's the campaign, and it's it's really great. It's really eye catching and leverages this repetitive statement of Sling Lets You Do That. But it's like, can I watch the TV I want? Sling Lets You Do That. Can I watch the TV I want at the price I want? Sling Lets You Do That. Can I cancel when I want? Sling Lets You Do That. Can I cancel and watch free stuff so I don't have to pay? Sling Lets You Do That. Can I get rewarded? Sling Lets You Do That. And you can see how that thread goes, and it allows us to talk about, quite frankly, a complex concept of like a la carte TV and pulling what you want and getting rewarded for it in a way that makes sense in this wrapper.
Got it.
On the Dish side, we have a little bit of a different thing where Dish is a known quantity, right? They know what the Dish brand is, and there's a conception of it, right, there where, hey, it's satellite, it's on my house, it rains, and then I lose service, and those are misconceptions, right? We've done a tremendous amount of work to update our Hopper platform to ingest multiple streaming providers so you can watch what you want when you want to watch it. We have Signal Protector, which, if there's an issue with the signal, we actually divert you to digital signal. And so it's really great. And so that campaign and that branding is all about, well, how do we reinforce the stability of our product, the stability of our pricing, right? I talked about the 2-year price guarantee in the beginning, and the stability of the offering we have, because that customer wants consistency. They don't want a whole lot of complexity. They really want it to be easy and consistent. That's where the branding on that side is more, there's more to Dish, right? Because we already have that brand in people's mind. We want to tell them the misconceptions they have are incorrect, and how do we correct them, right?
It's hard to change deeply held consumer perceptions about things like the satellite goes out when it's cloudy or rainy. But are you seeing movement there? Are you seeing that people kind of, those old perceptions are starting to get a little bit smaller and easier to overcome?
Yeah, I mean, I think, especially because, in a former life, we did this on the cable side, like there's less of a focus on the television product, right? Things have moved to internet. It's very much about the internet product. The focus isn't there. So what we're able to do is say, we actually care about this consumer. We want to create a high quality experience, and that's what we're innovating. So we're seeing some receptiveness to that, and then particularly we've got some of our ads in social, and we're seeing a lot of traction with that message, particularly around Signal Protector and 2-year price guarantee, et cetera, about how consistent and stable we are. So really, early stages on that brand work for, there's more to Dish, but really good traction so far.
How would you describe the current state of streaming overall? It's been a wild, I guess, 10 years at this point. Where do you see the landscape right now?
Yeah, I mean, so it's really interesting. We kind of talked about it. I think, and Sling was a little bit ahead. Like when I came in 2.5 years ago, we were already starting to think like this. But there's a shift from, I just want to acquire every subscriber I can, so I want to find the subscribers that really want my service, and then map that with there's a proliferation of options. So what wasn't around, nothing was around in 2015 when Sling launched, but what wasn't around 2 years ago was fast services in mass, right? Pluto and Tubi and those weren't around. Now they are, and honestly, go on any smart device or smart TV, and you will see Roku free channels. You'll see Samsung free channels, right?
Or smart TV will just start playing something.
Yeah, it'll just start playing stuff. And so it's, so the way you have to think about it is, and that's why we launched free stream on Sling, is we want to be there for the customer where they are and how they want to watch, right? And we want to, from a revenue metric, right? Of course, we want paid subscribers. I mean, that's that piece. But from a customer experience and just a brand perspective, and just having an awesome product, we want to create something where we have what's right for you in the moment, and that's really what we're focused on, and what differentiates us. And that's why we launched a fast service, which we're the first paid and fast service to be able to go back and forth between. We launched rewards, which we were the first streaming provider to give you actual rewards, incentive to watch, and so that's the lens we view things in, and that's what you'll continue to see from Sling moving forward.
Tell us a little bit about the rewards that you're talking about.
Yeah, so you can go on sling.com rewards, shameless plug, and check it out. But basically, the nature of it is, when you watch, as you watch, the more you watch, you earn entries to win cash. So just literally straight cash that we give away every month. Prizes from our partners. So we gave away a trip to the U.S. Open. We're giving a trip for the Walking Dead premiere. All of that's included. And basically, the more you watch, the more entries you get to win. The really cool part for the customer and for us is, you don't have to be a paid subscriber to earn. You could be paid, you could be free, and you still have the same amount of chances to earn as long as you keep watching.
So wait a minute. Couple things there. One, you're trying to turn us into an even bigger nation of couch potatoes by incentivizing just leaving your TV on all the time.
Right.
Okay. Two, you're putting the burden on internet providers who are kind of providing that streaming in the background, right?
I would love to say it a different way, but yeah, sure. You can say
another word than burden.
and meanwhile, you guys get a lot of engagement, and your consumers get rewarded. So
that's
look
right.
At you. Clever.
Yeah. And for me personally, you mentioned in the upfront, like I used to work on loyalty innovation at JP Morgan Chase, and it was all about different ways to use your points and earn points. And so when I came here, we were all kind of thinking about it, and it just aligned in a beautiful way to say, we actually had this at Chase. We did it in a brief. We said, when we're doing rewards, we're like, get the things you love for free, right? And basically, because you're paying with your points. So I was like, well, what do you love more than watching TV? So it's like, get paid to watch TV, get paid to do the thing you love, get paid to watch TV.
Yeah, when we were kids, you'd say that all the time, right? That's what I want my job to be.
All right, so I'm hearing a couple of things. If I switch to Sling, you will pay me, I think is what I'm hearing. And the second thing is, can you promise me that when I turn on Sling, I won't have to watch Dateline? Because that's what happens when I turn my TV on now, and I don't know how to make that stop.
I promise you will not watch Dateline.
Thanks. I'm switching.
Yeah, I promise that. But we spend a lot of time, honestly, thinking about how we personalize and curate the experience.
That's where I'm
based
going.
on what you come in on. And this goes back to the thing I said before. It's like, well, it's got to be great creative. It's got to be a great channel strategy. It's got to be great buy flow and sales process. But then once you hit that, it's got to be, hey, I wanted to watch this thing. I want to watch Yellowstone. That should be the first thing you're seeing, right? And that should be the thing that gets you in. And then how do we recommend things to keep you engaged? And my boss has a great phrase, which is, product's got to match the promise, right? And that's like literally like emblazoned in our heads, like, I'm in the market promising something. How do we have the product, the sales experience, the product, et cetera, to match that? So that's kind of an ethos we have here.
That's great. Yeah. If anything falls down, the whole stool collapses. So in terms of your segments, especially for streaming, with streaming and being an on-demand world, but sports is just such a big, I'm sure it's such a big, the NFL season right now is probably such a big thing for your campaigns. Can you talk a little bit about, just building a program around, NFL users or sports watchers, how does that make up kind of your seasonal play here?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big moment. I mean, honestly, like it's a big moment for everybody, right? Because this is when the eyeballs turn to TV. So yes, it's a big moment as a TV provider, but even, advertisers in general, this is when they up their spend, et cetera. So the way we think about it is a couple things. One, football means different things to different people, right? You have NFL watchers, but you have equally as passionate college football watchers. Those programs actually live in different places. One's college on ESPN, or NFL on a variety of platforms, right? One might argue too many, but that's a different story. And so how do we hit those different segments, right, that care about different affinities? And then to hit the second point about the stratification of where you can watch, like that's been a big focus of ours to say, whether it's particularly on Dish where you can aggregate a lot of this content, but even on Sling where we can make up a sizable chunk of that. It's how do you show the value of what these services enable for you while this landscape has become more complex than ever, right? And so that's really important to us. And lastly is, like I said a little bit ago, like prepaid offers, for example, on Sling, and we do similar things on Dish to focus on offers for these customers. How do we have the right offer to hit these customers? So we've got a value proposition in the market that's tailored. Messaging is tailored to their affinity, whether it's team, whether it's league, whatever. How do we then have a value proposition that fits into that affinity to drive more of that content? And then what's that offer strategy and then channel strategy to actually say, well, hey, we can actually give you a price point that you care about, and so you can get all your content, right?
So Sling, so Jinx, you've talked about sort of pulling different levers to get customers, different messages, working to different audiences, different offers, different product features that make it sticky. What about different media levers? Do you feel like now that you're running a pretty sophisticated acquisition marketing machine, do you think you know which channels are working best, where you should be spending more money to get in front of those prospects? Or is that still a little bit of a black art?
Well, the famous quote is, right, I half my money is working, I just don't know which half, right?
Yep.
I think we're better than that now, but I do think there's what we spend a lot of time on, to be totally serious, is incrementality. So I don't know if you've had the pleasure of reading a guy named Avinash Kaushik. He's really fantastic digital marketing guy, ex-Google, but he has a philosophy that I'm really in tune to and I really like, which is it's all about to drive incrementality in the channel, because we've spent a lot of money on Sling, and then to just say, hey, paid search drove this many activations is a discredit to everything that's come before you and everything else.
Sure.
So what we've focused on is really how do we do three things, which is how do we think about channel level incrementality to know where to spend, right? And so that's kind of in isolation. So hey, is this channel driving more sales than without it? Then we think about, within a channel, you've got kind of subgroups of things. So for example, on Meta's one thing, but it's got Facebook, it's got Instagram, it's got WhatsApp or whatever. How do you break those down into clusters, right? And then beyond that, then how do you do a full portfolio kind of incrementality view? And that could be match market, or that could be literally pulling out spend and bringing it back, right? All of those things are tools that we've done to evaluate where should we spend, why should we spend, and then how that impacts our media mix. I will say the biggest difficulty on that is these are point in time views. TV business is a seasonal business. So how do we spread that across? And that's like, that's the fun of it. Like That's the challenge. And,
Yeah.
and
Seasonal.
I'd be lying. Your listeners
Yeah.
don't be lying if I said I figured it all out. But that's,
Yeah.
that's the framework we use to evaluate.
But at least you have that framework, you have a process. And to your point, yeah, not only is TV a seasonal business, but we just talked about the NFL, like where you find that varies this fall versus next fall.
That's right. The fun part about being in this industry is just the dynamism, right? And you're exactly right. Like this football season is different than last, right? There's a game on Netflix, and that didn't happen last year. Like,
Right.
how do we respond to that? And I think there's a real opportunity, quite frankly, particularly on the dish side, as this gets more complicated. I talked about that customer being so much wanting ease and stability and clarity. Like, hey, we have it for you. It's all there.
Yeah.
And you're on record as saying you think figuring all this out is fun. So, all right.
Yeah.
Not keeping you up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I say this all the time. Like, if it's not fun, why are you doing it, right? So you gotta love it. You gotta love the challenge of it. You gotta love the defense of it, and you gotta love digging in the numbers every day, right? Like I have a weird, unique thing where I run marketing, but I also run a channel, right? I run a digital channel, and I've done that. At Comcast have done that here, and in marketing, it's let's put something out, let's test, let's learn, let's build it. On the sales side, it's every day I start at zero. Every day I have 0 sales, and I got to make a number every day, right? Maybe I'm special, but you have to find it fun to do that. Like if you don't find it fun, then you should go into accounting, I guess. I don't know.
What would surprise people in terms of where you're finding some subs for streaming, for example? Are there any really fascinating channels that people wouldn't even think that you're finding subs?
No, I mean, honestly, the biggest thing for us is what's amazing is people just love to watch TV, so they'll come in from all different angles. When people ask me what's our media mix, I say basically every channel we can advertise on that has that positive ROI for us. What's interesting about streaming, to put in context of your listeners, is our channels are analogous to others, but different. So for example, in the retail environment, you have an end cap, right? And you spend a lot of time thinking about your end cap and thinking about what you're merchandising on your end cap. For me, that end cap is the what's on next on your Roku. Similarly, like when we're merchandising on site or in our digital flows, right? We're working with our partners to have the highest impact things that we can talk about, and highest impact shows or highest impact players or teams, so we can leverage that. And so when you ask me about free stream, I think what's really cool, what we've seen a lot of traction with, is when people are in the free stream product, and then we can know what they're watching and then surface relevant content. You're watching this sports free show, and now March Madness is on. Making that connection and using that creative, having that very seamless buying experience has been great for us from an acquisition perspective.
Got it. All right, can we go back a little further in your career? Because apparently, according to LinkedIn, you have a patent, which I don't think a lot of marketers can claim, but you can. Can you tell us about that? What kind of sexy technology is out there with your name on it?
Yeah, so I have a couple patents, and mainly for my days.
Oh, a couple.
A couple. Yeah, I just want to correct you. I don't want you to.
Brian, how many patents do you have?
7.
7. Oh, okay.
Okay, so Brian's better than
I'm
Brian
pulling up the rear.
0. I have no
patents. Yeah,
I have no patents.
I think I have 5.
But between us, Jinx, we have 0.
Okay, well, I had the good fortune of working for JP Morgan Chase and running an innovation team. And at JP Morgan Chase, the lawyers would literally seek me out and be like, "What are you thinking about? I'm going to help you write a patent with your brilliant ideas." Yeah, it was great. So I get all the benefit of having my name on one, none of the credit, because JP Morgan owns all the actual IP on that. So that's one thing. But I'll say the patent, the one that I'm the lead inventor on, I'm the most proud of, was what we did for what became the Freedom mobile app, which was how do you pay with your points at the point of sale. And so we launched Amazon Pay with Points, which for those that don't know or don't use Amazon, you could, when you link your credit card to Amazon, then we immediately show your points bank and you can deduct from them. And it's
awesome.
And it's awesome. Right? Yeah, I can buy something on Amazon, and I can buy to the penny, right? I can $25.23 for that really cool set of headphones or whatever. I can do that. So with my points, it's free, right? And this got us, and we're marketers. Like I ran an innovation team, we're marketers. We said, what's better than getting the things you love for free, right? And what's the hurdle to that? Well, we want to do that in the real world, because Amazon's great, but like, I don't love my subscribe and save Tide Pods, but I love a Starbucks coffee every morning, right? Or whatever it is. And so that was, so we kind of thought about it in three ways, right? We thought about it in the customer need, right? I love that thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the customer need. We thought about it in the business value, because if you do gift card redemptions versus cash back redemptions, that's actually more beneficial to the financial provider, because they negotiate a big rate with Starbucks to get a bunch of gift cards.
Yep.
So it's less pennies on the dollar. So that's a business value. Hey, if I can move people to gift card from cashback, that's a benefit to the business, and it's a customer value that they like. So it's a win-win. Then the last piece, the third leg of the stool, I guess, is like the technology. Like, does it exist? Like, can we actually do that? And so we looked to Starbucks and we spent a bunch of time with them. Their app basically does that. It hacks a gift card. Every time you preload $20, you just buy a $20 gift card that they're serving up for you in the app. So we're like, wait a minute, there's a technology solution to a customer need and a business need. So the intersection of that was what we did with what became the Freedom mobile app now, and then it rolled into the Chase app and Chase Pay and all the stuff they've done since. And it was just that. It was, hey, look, I'm going to go to Starbucks. I'm going to buy something for $5.83. I can pull up this app. I can punch in $5.83 in real time, immediately delivers a gift card via barcode. Customer doesn't know that. They just think it's a barcode. Scan it, boom, get my coffee. I'm out of there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, I'm jealous, not just because you have a patent, but because you had lawyers chasing you down for things that are beneficial. I just had lawyers chasing me down to add more disclaimers to things.
That's right. Well, I have that too. Exactly. so we can all commiserate on that fun. But,
I have PTSD over disclaimers.
Well, at least we're not in pharma, so apologies to all the pharma listeners.
Fair enough.
My favorite, if you want to talk about innovation, my favorite innovation, if you guys haven't seen it, is now display ads have scroll bars just to get through all of the disclaimers on a pharma display ad. So, I mean, if our click-through rate wasn't bad enough, like, come on now.
Jinx, it'd be great to hear, and our listeners to hear, just a little bit more about how you've kind of worked your way through the marketing industry and e-commerce and how you got to where you're at now.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to talk about that. I think you guys have led big teams and all that kind of stuff. I think when you have a big team and an organization that looks to you for leadership, like it behooves you to spend the time with them to mentor them and talk to them. And so I talked to my team a lot about this. I actually have, throughout my organization, have one-on-ones with everyone on the team at least once a quarter, my directs and stuff regularly, et cetera. But literally just to focus on career, especially for some of the junior folks that like,
to
think
help
about
them
us
navigate.
when we came out, we were just help them navigate. We were just figuring it out, right? So if there's anything I can do to give them a nudge or give them the purview of connecting the dots for them, I love to do that. So
have you always had that across your career? Has someone done that for you, or did you kind of learn this by not having it?
It's interesting. I think I was actually reflecting on this. Like, I don't think I've had a boss that's done this, and maybe it's kind of insane to have one-on-ones with everybody, but I still think it's important. But at like Chase, for example, the CEO of Card at the time said, "My door's open. Anyone can schedule time with me." And I never took advantage of that with her. And I had a big regret, and I got to meet her and we worked together, and it was fine. It ended up being fine. But like, I always had this big regret because I was like, no, I'm not important enough to talk to her. I don't have enough to talk about, et cetera. So, for me, forcing the issue, quite frankly, and telling the people that come to my office, like, this is your time. Like, I will, if you want to talk about, music for half an hour or whatever, I'll do that. But I think the best use of your time and mine is to talk about your career and how I can help you and how, I can answer questions for you, et cetera. And so that's sort of where that was born from.
That's terrific. They're lucky to have you. That's great. You take that proactive stance. And I remember same thing, Brian, I'm guessing you do too. Yeah. It was always intimidating to kind of be the initiator with the senior person to ask about your career. So it's great that you're being the initiator.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, what I tell them a lot too is, like, you asked me more specifically, like, how did I get to where I got to, which might be boring for your listeners, but But I'll say I graduated from the University of Pittsburgh with a degree in physics and music, which means I was prepared for nothing. That's literally, I was prepared to be a graduate student, and I didn't want to be a graduate student. I was fortunate to get some roles and then skilled to take those roles and make the most of them. And that's sort of how I landed in the innovation role. That's sort of how I got to Comcast, where I had the great fortune of meeting John. That's how I got to lead e-commerce for Comcast and report to the CMO. And that's how I got to be here. And the thing I always say to people that come to my office that ask for that advice or how did I get here or whatever is a couple things. One, when you were in college, when you were in high school, right? Like you practiced, like what did you play? A sport, you played an instrument, whatever. You practiced far more than you played, right? I mean, I was a drummer. I practiced 8 hours a day and I played a 2-hour gig and then I would go and I practiced 8, when we get in the workforce, we start at 9, we end at 5, we come in at 9 and we expect to change the world until 5 and then leave. Like, that's not how it works. Like you have to put in the time. Like you have to treat it like your craft, right? That's why, I joke, but it's like, if you don't love it, why are you doing it?
Right.
You have to give it that much, right? If you want to succeed. And so that's the thing I talk about. And practice means something different in the workforce. Like practice means networking. Practice means talking to the finance guy and understanding what the P&L. Practice means spending time with the presentation and then road showing it. So when you finally take it to the senior leader, you're polished, right? Like it means something different, but it's the same concept. And then the other thing I talk about is I really haven't said no to anything. When stuff comes at me, I don't say no. I was a physics and music major. My first job actually was selling stuff door to door because I responded to an ad for a marketer because first of all, I wasn't prepared for anything. So I was like, I can do marketing. I was handing out flyers for my band. So
easy.
Yeah, right. Exactly, right. We get a bad track here, but seriously, I was like, I had hand out flyers for my band. So I can do marketing. Okay, marketer, needed marketer, must wear comfortable shoes. So also advice, if it ever says comfortable shoes, that means you're going door to door. And so yeah, I did it. And it was horrible. Like it was terrible. But what it allowed me to do was I had a piece of conversation that for my next job, which was more of like a startup, and I kind of knew the owner of this company and he was a mentor of mine. I had to sit down with him. I was telling him how bad this stuff. He's like, why don't you come work for me? And I was like, wait, I never thought that was a thing. Like I'm not prepared to do anything. He's like, would you do this, this, this? And I was like, yep. He's like, go, right? And it's funny too, because I still think about that sales role every time I'm trying to pump up a sales team, because that's the one thing I did learn in that role. And so, but you track that all the way to, hey, do you want to be in this rotational program at Chase? Sure. Yes. Oh, hey, actually, there's this other cool job. Do you want to do that? Yes. Oh, do you want to work in digital advertising at Comcast? Well, I never did that before. Yes. Do you want to work in e-commerce? Well, I never did that before. Yes. And it just compounds on itself. And Steve Jobs has a great quote, right? Like the dots connect themselves in hindsight. And that's really the way I feel. And I think I'm jealous of the people like doctors and stuff that are like, I know exactly, I want to be that and I'm going to do that. But that wasn't me. And so, but for me, it's, you got to put the work in and just, don't say yes to stuff that puts you out of your value system, but otherwise say yes to everything.
Love that.
Yeah, love it. All right. Well, Jinx, you've been so generous with your time and covered a lot of territory. We're really grateful for your time with us.
Well,
Brian, anything you need to ask Jinx before we let him free?
No, just thanks for taking the time. And it was great hearing about what you're doing with those two brands. And we love this industry. We want to see where it goes the next couple of years and how, consumers may change constantly and how you guys react to that. So thanks again.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. I love the work you guys do. I love being on here. I love talking about this stuff. I obviously could talk about it all day because I do, but it's been really great.
All right. Well, maybe we'll do a follow-up episode that just follows you around for 8 hours and see if anyone listens.
That's right.
Perfect.
We'll see.
All right, Jinx. Thank you so much. You be well. Good luck with everything you're doing.
All right. Have a great time, guys. And good luck to all your listeners and keep following these guys. They're doing great stuff.
Oh, thanks, man.
Thank you.
Okay, Brian, that was Jinx. Good dude, huh?
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, he's a neat guy.
We'll talk
Really
about
smart. Yeah, I think he makes he made a lot of really complicated things sound simple. And I'll tell you, one of the things I really appreciated was he said a few times, you gotta love what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. And I just wanted to say, Brian, I love podcasting with you. How about that?
I do as well.
How about that for a tender moment here on Snap Decisions?
Intimate, tender moment. Thank you, John. I love podcasting with you as well.
Nice.
I'll do
Well,
that.
let's keep doing it then. We'll take Jinx's advice and we will continue doing what we love.
All right. All right. I'm in.
All right. Well, let's continue it into our next episode coming soon.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
All right, man. Bye.
Bye.